Boys, there's some fighters that, I used to like, but now I just absolutely can't stand them anymore. Maybe, it's the stick that they had before, the character that they were using to build up the hype. Maybe it was that. Maybe it's just, personality-wise. Maybe it's just not being committed enough. There's a bunch of fighters that I have here. I have 8 fighters total that I used to like, I used to be fans of them, but at this point, I just can't stand them. They're either, like I said, they're not disciplined, their character is just getting old and corny, or, maybe they're just like a terrible person. A perfect example of this, Colby Covington. I'm sick of Colby Covington. Back when he was on the rise, back when, he was interim champ, back when he first started his whole character arc, he was one of the more entertaining welterweights in the division. I'll give him that. Even up until like the second Usman fight, it was still fun, entertaining. Yes, his character kind of cracked there. We're at the end of the fight telling Kamaru Usman that, it's just a character, he doesn't actually think like this. I'll let that slide, but ever since then, let's go through this boy's career and just, since then it hasn't been much. Yes, he had the Tyron Woodley in between the Kamaru Usman fight. Still rooting for Colby Covington there because, Tyron Woodley on the way out, wasn't showing much promise. Where Covington, he still had that chance to become champion. Let's keep moving down. We got the Jorge Masvidal fight. That was just such a disappointing fight. I remember there was a lot of bad blood going into that fight, and the fight itself very, very overwhelming, and just like I don't know, it was not worth a pay-per-view. It wasn't even worth a fight, to be honest. Then we go into the Leon Edwards fight. I think I picked Colby Covington to actually beat Leon Edwards, but he just completely shit the bed. Then after that, we already know this boy's ducking Ian Gary. He's ducking every contender that's not a huge favorable matchup for him. Like, I'm pretty sure he only wants to fight Wonder Boy. I'm done with this Colby Covington. The Colby Covington we currently have, boring, pretty much just like a Conor McGregor, just talking and talking on Twitter. And yeah, I'm done with Colby Covington right now. I can't stand him anymore. He got extremely cringy. I'm just done with Colby Covington. Let's keep moving down. Jon Jones. Yes, there was a point, earlier career, back when he was still in light heavyweight. I did enjoy watching Jon Jones, like fully pause. But yeah, going into, the DC fights, I like Jon Jones. I liked it when he was playing the heel. But, even the Alexander Gustafsson fight, the second one, I like the heel performance. Now I was a lot younger and, didn't know as much for the Dominic Reyes fight, rule set wise, but watching that fight, I low-key thought that Jon Jones won that shit, but that was years ago. I was a lot younger. I didn't really know the rules as much as I do now. Maybe I have to rewatch it and, change my opinion, but I enjoyed having Jon Jones as a light heavyweight champ. But as of recently, we go 3 years inactivity. We go to the Cyril Gane fight. That shit was rigged as hell, regardless. Hasn't fought since then. Yes, he is scheduled to fight Stipe now, but I don't know. Plus, as I get older and older, looking at it, Jon Jones is just a terrible human being, just a piece of shit, you know what I mean? Anyone who isn't paid by the UFC to say good things about Jon Jones is a fucking retard, in my opinion. If you're not paid by the UFC, like, I understand like Nina saying that she loves Jon Jones because she's paid by the UFC. But if you're just a casual fan and you're saying how amazing Jon Jones is, shut the fuck up. You're a retard. This boy beat the living shit out of his wife. It was so bad that his daughters had to call the cops on their own dad. He's just a piece of shit, steroid using piece of shit. Let's keep moving down. I went over, the characters I'm not that a fan of. Maybe they're just not good human beings. I also talked about maybe they're just not disciplined enough. Tai Tuivasa. I can't stand Tai Tuivasa anymore. This is like my favorite heavyweight, and I don't know what the fuck is his issue. Why he isn't taking this shit seriously. Why we find out after one of his fights that there's a fucking empty Taco Bell bag in his locker room before he walks out. Why are we finding this out? Why is this boy not taking this shit seriously? And yeah, I think it really had to do with that 5-fight win streak he was on. I guarantee he made a shit ton more money on that 5-fight win streak. I guarantee his contract got up. I just don't think he cared enough to, keep pushing to improve himself. Ciryl Gane, I think after that Ciryl Gane performance, he didn't really care. Sergey Pavlovich started to care less and less, and it goes to Volkov, care less and less. And then once we get to the Tybura fight, the fact that he lost to Tybura fucking pisses me off. But I think ever since that Tybura fight, that was the nail in the coffin where this guy doesn't give two shits anymore. But Tai Tuivasa, I can't stand this guy anymore. Let's go down. Alexandre Pantoja. Now, Pantoja, if you guys used to watch Pantoja, like if you remember his fights before becoming a champion, I remember practically everyone was saying that they can't wait for Pantoja to get to a title shot. They can't wait for Pantoja to be a champion because he's going to be one of the more entertaining flyweight champions. And on the come up, yeah, it was looking like that. He was getting finish after finish after finish. But ever since he got that belt, he's been playing a whole lot safer of a game and became a decision merchant. He's making a shit ton more money, so he's playing the safe game, trying to get to the decision, trying not to go crazy and get caught here by a KO. He's not trying to overshoot. He's just playing the safe game, going for a decision after decision. Granted, they're all unanimous decisions except for the Moreno fight, but other than that, they're all unanimous. He is dominating, but I just miss the old Pantoja where he would go out there and get finishes because it's so rare we get a finisher at flyweight. But yeah, I'm sick of Pantoja. Let's keep moving down. Henry Cejudo. Is there much that needs to be said? Back when Cejudo was double champ, yeah, I used to like watching him fight, but him retiring, can we all just have a moment to actually think about this? Henry Cejudo retired being double champ, trying to strong arm the UFC into giving him more money. It has to be one of the worst financial decisions I've ever seen any UFC fighter do, period. The amount of money that Henry Cejudo was probably making as double champ compared to now where he's on, what is it, like a 2-3 fight losing streak? I had never understood that decision. One of the stupidest decisions ever, in my opinion. And yeah, since then, it's like, who really cares? Like, time has passed you by, Cejudo. You fumbled the bag massively. It is what it is. I don't know why you're not just hanging them up, because at the end of the day, there's nothing for you. Unless you just want to have fun fights, unless you just want to have like Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo, maybe even like a Brandon Moreno fight, that could be fun. Unless you just want fun fights, you're never becoming champion. You're never going to get that paycheck that you would have had if you were a double champ, you fucking idiot. But yeah, Henry Cejudo, I just can't stand him anymore. He's got a lot more cringy as the time has gone by. And it's fine. I can understand him acting the way he was when he was a champion / double champion. I can understand that, but you're not even a champion anymore, little bro. Hang them up. Time has passed you by. Let's keep moving on. Paulo Costa. Now, the thing that pisses me off about Paulo Costa is if we go into, his career, ever since the Israel Adesanya fight, Izzy broke that man. I think everyone was a fan of Paulo Costa. Going into the Izzy fight, everyone was hoping that he just destroys Israel Adesanya. But ever since that fight, Israel Adesanya knocks him out in the second round. He says, oh, it wasn't because, Izzy was better than me or anything. It's because I couldn't sleep last night, so I fucking drank a whole bottle of wine. That's why I lost. Sober Costa is undefeated, which, granted is pretty funny. But since then, we go into the Marvin Vettori fight. I don't know if you guys remember this, but that fight had to take place at like light heavyweight, I think, because Paulo Costa just refused to make weight last second. He's like, yeah, I'm just not going to make weight. If you want to make weight, that's fine. I'm just not going to make weight. So they had to push it to light heavyweight, and just showing more and more that Izzy broke him. Then we go into the Luke Rockhold fight. The fact that this went all 3 rounds, granted it was at elevation. Granted, both of them were exhausted, but the fact that he couldn't finish Luke Rockhold, yes, it was a war of a fight. It was one of the best fights of the year, but he should have finished that boy. You know what I mean? Then, since then, I think everyone forgets from the Luke Rockhold fight to the Robert Whittaker fight, people weren't the biggest fan Paulo Costa. It really was until he was making a name for himself on Twitter, posting a bunch of memes, just being like a Twitter personality. It wasn't until then since he started getting a little bit of the hype back. Then he fights Robert Whittaker, fumbles the bag massively. I don't know how Paulo Costa can be so bad at the second and third round. Like, he practically had Robert Whittaker out there in the first round. But regardless, loses a decision, then loses another decision to Sean Strickland. But, relatively active, He's not the worst guy on this list, but I kind of can't stand Paulo Costa anymore, Unless he shows that he's been improving, I just can't stand him anymore. Like, the fact that he just fumbles a bag against Robert Whittaker in the second and third round, the fact that he couldn't finish Luke Rockhold. I don't put most of the blame on Paulo Costa for the Sean Strickland performance, but it is what it is. I can stand him the most out of everyone on this list, but let's keep moving down. Manel Kape. Manel Kape is mainly because the potential was there for Manel Kape to be such a dominant force in this flyweight division. The potential was there, but I don't know, maybe we overhyped this guy, but I don't know. I think we might have low-key overhyped him because, we all thought this guy was a knockout machine. He's gonna out here finish everyone. And then David Dvorak, decision. Felipe Dos Santos, decision. The past few years has been a hard watch to be a Manel Kape fan. Plus, he's just been very inactive. I don't know. I think we overhyped this guy, and ever since then, I can't really take him serious, to be honest. So that's why I can't really stand Manel Kape anymore. Final guy on this list, I think a lot of people can agree, Anthony Smith. There was a point in time where I was a pretty big Anthony Smith fan. I'm not gonna lie. Rare thing to be said nowadays, but he was a dog back then. Let's be realistic. When he went on that win streak to get a title shot against Jon Jones, he was a dog. Let's quickly run through that win streak. Rashad Evans, KO. He KO'd Rashad Evans in the first round via knee. Shogun Rua, elbow in the first round. Volkan Oezdemir, an amazing win even nowadays. Third round submission, rear naked choke. Then Jon Jones happened. We already know what happened there. Came back and beat Alexander Gustafsson. Fourth round, rear naked choke. Honestly, a great fight right there, and shows that he's still top of the top. But then we've shown that, maybe he doesn't have that dog in him anymore, Glover Teixeira beat the living shit out of him. I believe he was picking up his teeth in the middle of the fight too. Just beat the shit out of him. Ratchik, unanimous decision. We slowly see that this guy, his heart isn't there anymore when it gets to the later rounds. But Devin Clark, first round submission. Jimmy Crute, TKO doctor stoppage in the first round. Ryan Spann, first round submission. Runs into Ankalaev, second round KO. Johnny Walker, lost by decision. Ryan Spann, won again, split decision, but Ryan Spann is shit, to be honest. Then Khalil Roundtree, TKO in the last. Somehow he gets a first round submission over Petrino, but then the fact that he lost to Roman Dolidze, it just seems like at the later half of his career, he has some wins here and there, but the later half, it does show that he just breaks too easily, unfortunately, and he's simply just not the same fighter as he used to be, and he still thinks he is, which is why I can't stand Anthony Smith anymore. Let me know in the comments below, are there any fighters that you used to like but just can't stand anymore? Because there's a few more I have, but maybe we'll make that into a part 2 if you guys really want that. You guys, look at this shit real quick. 99% of you guys watch this shit for free. All I ask, leave a like on this video and subscribe with those post notifications turned on. Help your boy out get to 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, boys, there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.